It's DJ Slope from Slope's Game Room, and I'm not in my house. I'm at Wild Weathers Ale, who've been making the complete history beer. The reason I'm squinting a lot is because there's so much sun coming at me. I'm with a few guests today. Not the usual people, of course not. The reason I'm talking so much slurrily like, just because I've been drinking lots of Wild Weathers beer, which is good. I don't feel like I'm drunk bodily wise, but I am definitely drunk. Guys, let's start from this side. Introduce yourself for my patrons, for my YouTubers. Go.
Hello, I'm Ian from Wild Weather Ales. We've invited Slope down for a collab today.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm SmileyDaveUK. I've known Slope for quite a while. I have my own YouTube channel that has been ripped apart today by said Wild Weather Ales, but it's okay. Made a beer with them last year, and I'm glad to be a part of this.
And I'm Matt, also from Wild Weather Ales, doing all the other work that happens. And yeah, cool.
There you go. See, he's wearing the Mensky top. The Mensky top. Give it up for Mensky. Yes. So guys, there will be, if anyone wants to know what's going on, there is an actual Slopes Game Room branded beer called
A Complete History.
Can you believe that? It's happening. So basically, I've decided, why not? We're going to do a proper video where I'm going to do maybe a midweek vloggy video explaining all of this stuff that's happening around me, the Wild Weathers Ale stuff, where I'm drinking lots of beer, basically. Where we talk about the process of making the complete history beer, which, will it be available?
It will be available. It'll be available nationwide.
Check that out. It's going to be about a month away, but when that proper video comes out, that's when you'll know it's available. But what we've decided to do today is it's a complete history. I've been putting it off to today so we can get some more people in to answer these video game questions that you keep asking me. If you want to be a patron of Slopes Game Room, you know where to go. There's links in the description and the top comment, all of that stuff. But for now, this one, we'll start off. This one's from Petty Mew, one of my long-time supporters. What game do you love that everyone else seems to hate, and what game do you not like that everybody else thinks is the bee's knees? For the Americans out there, the bee's knees is a good thing. I don't think bee's knees is an American term.
No, you don't have the wasp's feet, do you?
No. Right, so
Do bees even have knees?
I'll start.
Yeah, probably.
I believe. I'm not an expert on bees.
A bee connoisseur.
But I believe they have at least an ankle.
So I'll tell you all now. My demographic for Slopes Game Room is around the 25 to 30 age plus. So you can literally go for any generation you want, from the earliest to the PlayStation 4. It doesn't matter. I'll start the ball rolling by saying the game that I love. Actually, no, I don't love. I like. I'm gonna go with like. Why not? The game I like that everyone else seems to hate is Sonic and the Secret Rings and Sonic and the Black Knight. I like them. I played them through and they were good. I thought they were right.
Yeah, not bad games. I mean, they weren't great games, let's be fair.
No, I mean, if we're comparing them to the 16-bit generation, they don't compare.
Let's never compare Sonic to the 16-bit generation.
No.
Nothing's ever as good, is it?
But the thing is, I genuinely think they're better. Yes, they're better than 06, but I generally think they're better than the vast majority of the 3D platformers. It's just drive, basically. It's a driving game. That's what those games are. You know, I think they're right.
But I mean, if you can compare that to something like Smash Brothers? Not Smash Brothers. Mario Kart. I mean, it's not going to come close.
I don't think you can ever compare Sonic and the Secret Rings to Mario Kart, but
I'd say you're talking about driving games.
No, but that's what they are. They're driving games with obstacles. Yeah. They're not Mario Kart clones.
The biggest obstacle being that they're rubbish.
I mean, I played through them to completion. I couldn't play through some of the 3D games to completion. Sonic Lost World, couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I sold that game.
Sold it.
Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. So you just gave up and sold it.
Are you YouTube celebrity enough that you signed it and then sold it?
Bye-bye! No. Why have you scribbled on my game?
This is an after slope special. There we go.
What about you? What about games you like that nobody else does?
I'm going to throw this one in there just because I know it's going to get a reaction from Dave. A game that I love, that Dave hates. Do you want to call it, Dave?
Hogs of War.
Yeah, oh yes, Hogs of War.
Yeah, but it's got Rick Mail in it.
It has Rick
That's the only reason he likes it, right? Not only that, he has spent months perfecting this. I mean, like in nappies, diapers for the Americans, just making sure that anyone that comes around for a fun time will have their night ruined by this fucking game. Sorry, excuse my language, but like, yeah, will have their night ruined.
The 25 to plus 30 is fine.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you want to enjoy the scenario or the night even. He will just make sure that it will not. And I've just got Rick Mail giving it. I love Rick Mail. I loved Rick Mail.
So there's no loved. Big up Rick Mail. Peace out to my homie. I don't want to spill too much because it's a very good beer. Very good beer.
I'll just spill it this way.
I'm having. Hang on, sorry, I spilled.
Yeah, he's spilling it up. Oh man, genuinely, Rick Mail when that guy went.
Sad times.
That was like a piece of my childhood going, man. Like,
I reckon I can script the.
And also,
every single Young Ones episode.
Can we just throw in a beer reference here? Bombardier continued using Rick Mail's character, but with a different person. The brass neck of them.
I didn't even know that.
They've now replaced the same sort of out of their commercials, but with somebody different.
No,
it's wrong.
When you want to do a good thing, then and that good thing is no longer a thing. You can't carry it on.
No,
that's disgusting. No, I'm actually vexed. I am peeved by this.
As was I. I tweeted them. They ignored me. I don't have that many subscribers.
The best one, the Bombardier thing with Rick Mail.
I don't know what people are talking about right now. I'm just going to drink my beer.
So Bombardier was a beer. They had an advert campaign, and he's come in. There was a French guy cooking up a sausage.
Well, there's like huzzah!
Yeah. He's on board. He's with us. And he came in and had a sausage, swiped the guy across the face, said, "Sausage! My sausage!" Right? And only the delivery of Rick Mail could have made that work.
Yeah.
And it was like, drink a pint of me!
Yeah. Sad times. But yeah, so Hogs of War, I love it. Dave hates it, but that might be because I got very good at it, and yeah, as he said,
It's not a great game.
Oh, it's a good game.
It's Worm. It was the first Worms 3D prototype, and it was.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Like, it wasn't a caliber of like greatest games ever made, but I enjoyed it. You're verging towards that. You're verging towards that.
I mean, it was an okay game. Like I say, Rick Mail made it.
It was really just the person you were playing against that you disliked, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dave, what's your game that no one else likes?
Okay, so it is Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the SNES.
For the SNES?
Oh.
Yeah. For the SNES.
The SNES. It was an awesome game. I absolutely loved it. It had a Streets of Rage vibe, and it was like the next level Streets of Rage for me. And I know, like, it's an odd thing, and no many people. You alright?
I've wet myself now. But I've wet myself with very good beer. It's fine.
Is this in 4K? Because I'll pick it up. Yeah, Power Rangers. That was a huge part of my childhood. I didn't have much money. I used to go around to my mate's place and play all these games. I used to love Streets of Rage. And then Power Rangers came out and had the similar vibe, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I used to play that non-stop around his house. That and Jurassic Park.
Was that the one that had the driving level, like the second level, where you had to like pick up milk tanks or something ridiculous?
Are you thinking of Global Gladiators?
It might be, yeah.
I don't think it's Power Rangers because they didn't have cars. There's some arsehole here with a car though. Hang on.
Posing next to him.
I know what's happening. Guys, so two things with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game. The first time I experienced that game was when I was fully in Nintendo versus Sega. There was two companies that existed, you know, PC Engine knew that. But, NEC. But it was Sega versus Nintendo. And when I had a Sega, and when my one friend that came around that had a Super Nintendo, I'm hoping you can hear this because it's very loud. Basically, they rocked up with Super Morphin Power Rangers, and I was like, not as good as Streets of Rage though, is it?
Of course it's not, but it's a game that the question was, what is a game that other people don't like?
Let me tell you the way it works. Right? So you had Streets of Rage that was the best. That was the level that every other game like that needed to.
The creme de la cream.
Yeah. That was the level.
But Super Nintendo had Knights of the Round.
Well, I was going to say Super Nintendo had Final Fight.
And you'd be wrong.
Yes, I would be wrong, because Final Fight isn't that good on the Super Nintendo, and I'm sure Nostalgia Nerd, plug, would know who would big up Final Fight, but there's nothing compared to Streets of Rage. And Final Fight just gave me that same vibe, and it wasn't until the Mega CD that I realised, oh, actually there are other awesome brawlers. I mean, obviously I tried them in the arcade with Captain Commando and the Turtles, obviously, Simpsons.
Oh, I love the Simpsons.
Yeah.
Have you ever played it to the end though?
Yeah, absolutely.
They just gave up on bosses. They essentially just stuck Colonel Burns, that's not right. Mr. Burns.
Colonel Burns.
Run out of chicken.
They just stuck his head on some
nuclear
weird
chicken
robot
factory.
and gave him a weird accent. They'd given up. They thought nobody was going to put that many 50p's in the machine to get to him.
Yeah. Go on, mate. Remember the games with 50p a go?
Oh.
I took a mate down to a bowling alley, and he was playing Time Crisis, was doing really well, and because he was like, I need some more money, give me some more money, and I was like, okay, I'll help you out this time. I gave, now, as I say, I've mentioned, not from a rich background, I gave him every pound coin I had, £10, he finished it, he went, it's alright. I went, no! I didn't love it! I never saw that money back! And I was a fat kid that needed sweets, and I love going to the bowling alley, picking up some sweets, playing.
That's a 50 cent rhyme right there. You're a fat kid like cake, I know your style. I make everything to make you smile. I think, girl, it's either love me now. What's your favourite game that no one else likes?
Had to be one game I always played as a kid on the PlayStation was Croc.
I love Croc!
Oh.
Yes,
But-
high five for Croc!
But that's the one game that I used to play the absolute arse out of. It was one game I just kept coming back
It was
to.
a budget Spyro.
It was. It was. And that's what people looked down on it, because it
but
was
didn't-
just
hang
another
on.
generic platformer. It was originally meant to be a Yoshi spin-off.
Yoshi Racing.
Yes.
But it wasn't, because I'm going to totally get this wrong and everyone's going to kick off, but Spyro came out after Croc.
And
Then it can't be it! Spyro
But
rip-off.
that was the game that I always
like
came back
Croc.
to as a kid, and I always have a thing for. And you know, I don't see it really repped as
When
much
you
as
say a
maybe it
thing
should be.
for, I mean,
Not that thing.
Okay.
But, you know, still sort of.
There's a few
playing
games for it.
nostalgic,
You got you got the unheard of
In the scale of things.
GBA games and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I think Croc's a reputable suggestion. I think that's a good one. There are more to this question. For me, it was the first Bubsy game. Yeah, I loved the hell out of that game as a kid and never told anyone until now. And the game I don't like that everyone loves is The Legend of Zelda, mainly Ocarina of Time.
oh, that, can I just say, this seems very, like, it's as if someone was down at a certain panel
Yeah.
that you were on and said those exact words.
So, for people that don't know, I went to the Anime League Expo where Smiley Dave come along and witnessed my little chat with
Yep.
people like Cad Icarus and Rosie Caddick or Professor Juice. Did you know gaming? A few people like that. And when the question got asked by the audience, what game does everyone love that you don't like? For me, it was Ocarina of Time. I mean, I'm not going to say I hate it, but it ain't that good.
And the crowd was split, and I mean split 1 to 99%.
Genuinely,
There was one guy.
I was the one. There was only about 10 people there in the first place. So.
I'm going to agree with you, sadly. I've got to agree with you on it, yeah. But I've just never been a Zelda.
My experience, I mean, even to the Breath of the Wild, which I'll get to, but I bought a 3DS for Ocarina of Time. I missed out on the N64, and I thought, I kept reading all these IGN reviews and all these other reviews from hardcore Zelda fans that were like, if you've never played Ocarina, now is your time. And I'm like, I've got to get a 3DS. Everyone goes on about this game, I've got to get a 3DS. There I am, my 3DS, and I'm playing through it, and I actually was on a, for my 9 to 5 job, I was a sales guy at the time. They took me to Turkey and I was sitting in this beautiful hut, basically in the sun, perfect.
That's what happens when you work in a 9 to 5 in a call centre, by the way. All the
No,
time.
I don't get shit like that with YouTube.
Things you can aspire to, kids.
Basically, I'm sitting there in Turkey in the perfect setting, playing Ocarina of Time. Probably the perfect setting for people that like Ocarina of Time. and I'm playing it, and I'm like, fuck me, this game's long. And I remember this guy was just in my ear all the time. Yeah, Ocarina's not you. Obviously, you're the same as me. Ocarina's amazing.
I was also
amazing.
a salesperson. I was coming back from Taiwan at the time.
Ocarina's amazing. Ocarina's amazing. And I got to this point where fans of Ocarina will know. And I pulled out the sword, and I grew up from a child to an adult, I assume. And I remember leaning over to like my.
How long were you playing this game?
And that's the thing, for a really long time. And I said to him,
Pulled out the sword, got kicked out of the airport.
I think I'm there. I think I'm about to finish the game. I've just become an adult. And he's like, mate, you're only halfway through the game. I fuck this shit. I'm done.
By the way, you've just won a cuddly toy.
I'm done. I can't be bothered with this game. I completed Breath of the Wild, which I thought was better, but where did that game's love come from?
I mean, I haven't played the game, but there is non-stop 100% love online. There is no one that speaks bad of the Breath.
But the only people that do speak bad of are a bit like dumbfounded. I mean, none of us are saying it's a bad game. It's definitely not. But it's a bit like, yeah, it's alright.
Alright, I'll throw the cat amongst the pigeons then. Banjo-Kazooie. I cannot get on board with just running around collecting things.
Sort of on the same. Me and this guy would get along quite well. He does good beers and he does good gaming. Yeah, like.
What more can you want in a friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does beers. They're good.
We'll stay friends.
Games.
We'll never play Hogs of War against each other.
Banjo-Kazooie is a, get ready to unsubscribe people, a 6 or 7 out of 10, and Ocarina of Time is below that. Oh, I'm not going to say what it is because I would generally lose all of my fucking subscribers. Who even was it that said Ocarina of Time?
You.
That wasn't. I joined on with someone else. I joined on with someone else.
I said you said Ocarina. Oh no, it was the guy on. It was one of your patrons.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Don't blame me. Blame Petty Mew. Blame Petty Mew. If you want to be a patron, but anyway.
If you want to be blamed in the future, make sure you sign up.
She even said, sorry Nintendo fans, but to me it's the worst 3D Zelda game and screw Z targeting. I remember back in the day when the N64 was out, it was all about holding on to that middle controller, and everyone said it was the most amazing controller in the world.
I loved that controller.
But nowadays,
Looking at it now.
ooh, I'd rather have the Hori controller.
I know, it does look like some sort of weird sex toy.
It felt like
But
you
then
have to do the reach around.
should surely improve on the message. Yeah. Before we continue, I'm going to check the camera. There's question 2. We had to check the camera because we talked so much that we were worried. Yes.
Right. Film.
So thank you very much, Petty Mew. To add on to that, actually, you were talking about the Power Rangers.
Hang on.
Wave! No, it's gone.
Cameo.
We'll be round again now.
So, for people that don't know, Petty Mew, thank you for that. The Power Rangers game for the Super Nintendo, the one that I remember the most, primarily because of Top Hat Gaming Man, was the Mega CD version.
Yes. Oh yeah, I remember you saying.
The Mega CD version actually plays real footage from the TV show, and the problem with that being is that Top Hat Gaming Man, if you don't know who he is, make sure you subscribe. He is someone that streams to both Twitch and YouTube when he was playing the Mega CD version of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and because of that he got kicked off YouTube. No warning, for 3 months you're not allowed to stream because he was playing clips from a TV show.
I know it's unlike YouTube to do such things, and most like sort of streaming and broadcast things, they normally give you 3 warnings as you normally get, but no.
What he said. So the next one comes from Richard Carter, aka Fantastic Dizzy. Hello, my good friend. Richard Carter asks, hi Dan, hope you enjoyed the trip to Sega offices. Of course you did. Of course I did. There is more to come regarding that, by the way, people, so do keep an eye out. Have you ever played a side-scrolling beat-em-up that scrolls from the left? When you play Streets of Rage, it scrolls from the left.
Scrolls from the left.
On the left and go.
Yeah, and it goes to the right.
Yeah.
Does it mean like the screen scroll?
So the screen goes the wrong way round? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the other way round.
Yeah, he's talking about the other way round, isn't he? Beat 'em up scrolls from the from the left, or any other game that does, or would it do your head in?
Hang on, I'm using the force.
Being a PS4 live screen on the Takeover, so the Takeover is another. I think it's more Final Fight than Streets of Rage. There's another game coming out. I will be doing a review on it when it eventually does come out. Keep an eye on that. What PC controller would you recommend for playing games on MAME, please? Tried an Xbox 360 one, but can't get the analog to work. Asking for a friend, of course. Thank you, Rich.
You can get the old Super Nintendo, the replicas of the Super Nintendo Competition Pros that you can.
The Nubus Nintendos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you can now map to most of the main things. So
I mean, I've got one of those. I've not played a game that kicks off about that sort of thing. Like, everything seems fine.
Yeah.
I mean, are there any emulators out there that you can actually program a controller so you can say what the controller
Yeah, but he's asking MAME because MAME's the one to go to when it comes to multiple arcades.
Oh, it's in the title. It's in the title. Okay. No.
I just thought the Super Nintendo controller would do everything.
For me, it's the 360. I've never had a problem with 360, but maybe I haven't gone as deep as you have. I would recommend 360 if it wasn't.
They're now re-releasing the. Hasn't somebody just kickstarted the Xbox Duke controller, that you can plug
Yes, actually, that is a fun stock. Someone that supports the show. Thank you very much. So the Duke controller. Obviously, if you don't know, Xbox released the original controller for the original Xbox was on the fucking enormous beast that was so big it was almost hard to use. Yeah, basically. It was just so big. And what's cool about this fun stock controller, do check it out. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. There's a screen on the middle, but basically would have normally the green Xbox controller. There's a car. Would normally have an Xbox.
Funnily enough, that's the scale of the green Xbox controller.
But I believe it's actually like a screen now.
I don't know, I haven't seen much of it. I just thought it was nice that they were bringing back the massive chunky controller.
I wouldn't say nice, I would much prefer the redesign myself.
Yeah. So you can actually hold it in your hand.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
See, to me, as a bigger man, I thought you'd enjoy the truck. Like, to me, I like to have something I can sort of grip and hold on to. This sounds like something. And if you're looking for a guy the same,
Dave likes walks in the park, sunny beaches.
See, the thing is, I'm not a big. When I become a bigger guy, my hands don't get longer.
Fingers are still.
I get fatter and my hands stay the same length. So the Duke controller doesn't really do anything for me.
Yeah, the thumbs are quite short. It never really clicked with me.
My opinion is the 360 controller, but you said you had problems with that, so I honestly can't suggest anything. Although I would suggest do not buy the Play Sega controller. For people that don't know, Play Sega was this controller that we're going to release, or they did release, for the PC to be able to play Mega Drive or Saturn and Master System games.
The Saturn one was quite a chunky beast.
Yeah, but I mean, it was fine. It was just a little bit bigger than the Mega Drive, which almost made it good. Yeah, you'd be able to play those on the PC. It was a USB controller. But the problem with that controller is I've had two of them, and the right, you push down on the right too much, snap. Can't push right no more, dead controller. Do not buy that fucking PlayStation Sega controller, which has cost me about £15 a pop. She did ask more questions, and as I try and talk rubbish to you whilst doing that,
It's a dog.
Oh, we can remember what else she asked. Left to right, games that runs left to right.
Yeah, kind of mirrored to the traditional.
I'm actually confused because Streets of Rage does go left to right, and Sonic does go left to right, and Final Fight does go left to right.
So let's assume we're talking the other way.
The other way.
I think it would really annoy, as a man that spent a lot of time in his room with another man, playing with Dave, playing the likes of Golden Axe.
I had a misspent childhood.
And you work out who's going to go top and who's going to go bottom.
Yes, you're supposed to be top. You're supposed to be top. Yes, that is.
Who's going to steal the dragon first and all that.
Yeah.
The minute you started going the other way, it would mess with my head something chronic, because you do get muscle memory, don't you?
Yeah.
You know exactly from the first level of Golden Axe. I could almost do with a mate of mine, sort of like without even looking at it.
I mean,
I'd steal all the magic.
Top to bottom does not result in left and right changing.
Yeah. I'm aware of this.
For me, left and right changing can be anything like Rage or Halo, where you go, they take you to one place, and then you've got to go all the way back. So you get the best of both worlds. I wish it was a better game. I know that is really controversial because you go from one mission to one area,
the original Halo.
The
original
Halos.
I don't play Halo. This man's.
Actually, not. No.
My hands don't fit on the controller. So.
Hey! Relating to the last question.
That's a callback, people.
But then it's like Castlevania. I can't remember what the term is for it. Where the first Castlevania they made it go back through the they made you go back through the building.
Laziness.
Symphony of the Night.
Yeah. And there's a proper term for it, isn't it? It's not. It's
laziness.
Laziness. Yes, laziness.
But fucking hell, it's laziness is done right. When a game is so good. So good. Symphony of the Night. I remember I played that. I don't know if I'm feeling this. And then I played it the second time. I'm like, whoa! I get what people think. You know what I mean? I get what people are talking about with this game. And when I completed the game and it was asking me to play through it again, I'm like, I'm fine with that. Yeah. It was so fucking good. Very rarely in my life is a game
Metroidvania.
So
that's what they call it.
Metroidvania.
Thank you.
Laziness in there.
Laziness.
Thank you. What I will say on the whole left to right thing is, I'm confused with the question because, like I say, there's a motorbike over there. Maybe I'll speed this bit up.
Hang on. We might give a wave this time. Hang on.
I think it's going the other way.
Oh no.
Oh, he's just making the noise. Right, so what I will say is with the new Sega Mega Drive collection that I went up to go and see.
It's coming this way.
No, he's coming.
Wave for the camera! Oh my god, it's coming up at the You need to actually get in the shot.
The Harley Davidson just pulled up. What's your favourite game?
My favourite game?
Yeah.
Favourite computer game?
Ghost Recon.
Ghost Recon.
Ghost Recon fan over there.
New school.
Did you want to jump in the shot or?
I didn't even notice you had a fucking camera.
There is so much noise around me. This is not a good idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, the joys of filming on an industrial estate.
Yeah.
So to answer, to continue what I was saying, the Sega offices I went up to recently, which a lot of people you would have seen if you went over to my social media channels at Slopes Game Room or just Slopes Game Room on Facebook. Apparently there's an Instagram out there somewhere. But basically, what I will say is when I went up there, I got to check out the mirror mode, which I thought was a complete gimmick, and technically it is. But basically, what it is on this Mega Drive collection with all your favourite Mega Drive games, there's like 50 plus of them. You're playing the game, everything from right to left. So when you're playing Streets of Rage, you go. But the difference is the screen is literally flipped. So instead of saying Sonic, it's saying Kainos. Kainos. You know, that's what I mean. But, you can adapt to it pretty quickly, but it does throw you off. And I noticed this when I played Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Does it feel like you join the dark side? You start along the side of the boss and then you work your way back.
Yes, oh my god, I'm on that TV show Nightmare, you know. When you're playing the special stage in Sonic 2, when you're having to you're in that warp pipe, you got to learn again how to play the game. You know, it's a cool little feature, and it'll be good for the achievement hunters out there. So I mean, I'm bringing it up because it's the only relevant thing I've got to say about that question, because I don't know any other games that go from right to left.
I'm looking forward to playing Ihiko. No.
So if any of you guys have heard of that unknown game, then
no, hang on. I literally tried whilst you were talking, I was like, what's Echo backwards? I was like, oh, he? Okay.
Echo the Dolphin
is
terrible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's Ehok the Nitlock.
That actually comes back to
I
the
just
question
say,
we had earlier.
guys,
What game?
the designer of Echo the Dolphin saw my Echo the Dolphin The Complete History and has become a Patreon of mine.
Oh, love it.
Like the original fucking creator.
Echo the Dolphin is ace.
You heard it here first.
And also, I know you guys are Patreons, so you've definitely seen
Matt,
the fucking backstory.
No, I mean, this is going out to everyone.
Oh, is it going out to everyone?
Hot tinny.
Well, then if you're new to this, then make sure you check out the backstory of
Definitely.
Echo the Dolphin, because It is so interesting, it's crazy.
You should check it out as well.
I have checked it out.
Oh, but
Are you? Yeah.
Dave does occasionally watch your videos.
Shots fired.
we're moving on to the next question, guys. Before
I watched it.
Tim, how's it hanging? Labonte asks the question. You have a really interesting and an eclectic life. Rather than asking a billion questions, I'll spread them out. What made you become a DJ, and what is it like professionally? I read that out loud. I was reading like I've just learnt how to read. So you can join in with this. You're a DJ.
I want you to start off first. I'll add to it.
So
I think you're more likely to take away from it. If I'm honest, I've seen you DJ.
back in the day, about I could probably put a year on it, maybe 97, 98. My mum worked in a pub. She was a barmaid, and I lived back at home. And I was just into my gaming, and this is actually a bit of a grey point in my gaming life. But basically, I went over to the pub, and I remember seeing a DJ, and I thought, wow, those flashy lights are amazing. How's he controlling all those? Because I remember that there was certain parts of the beat when, I don't know, fucking Diana Ross or something would come on, it would all go slow, and it would all go, you know, the spotlights would come on, but it would come on with the flashy lights, when Rhythm is a Dancer or something would come on. UK viewers will know what I'm talking about. But basically,
it is a source of passion.
I'm serious as cancer when I say Rhythm is a Dancer. So he's serious. Cancer serious. So basically, I got really obsessed with it, and I ended up buying all of these magazines and all of these companies that would sell that sort of stuff to try and, oh man, I want to buy this lighting setup. Before I even knew I wanted to be a DJ, I was always into music. Big time. I bought that, and then I got my first mixer, which I literally carried around with me like a baby. There's a motorbike. Is there a motorbike? There it is. Another one.
As an aside there, just jumping in, what was the first single then? All the lighting stuff, what was the first single?
Okay. So we're going to go back to 1992-ish, around there. You'll be able to work it out by the year it was released. My first single was Too Unlimited, No Limit.
The first thing you bought?
No, there's no. Yeah, and my second single was Sesame Ease Treat by Smart Ease, the Sesame Street rave remix, which I didn't realise at the time had a lot of drug references in. If you think about the name, Smart Ease.
It's like easy good.
Emphasis on the ease.
Ebenezer good.
Yeah, I was running into the Shaman as well. Yeah, so that was my origin. You know, Robert Miles, rest in peace. Shaman, all that sort of stuff. And then I started moving into rock, and then when I started to try and merge the two together, yeah, that's what happened. So, but basically, and obviously hip hop. Everyone loves hip hop.
So I bought my first single and my first album simultaneously on the first day. The single being Snoop's little known song, Snoop's Upside Your Head.
Yes.
And the album being Bewitched's first album.
Ooh, and then it went down again.
First single, right, New Radical.
What are you like?
Quite like my dad as well.
I'm getting flashbacks of the girls doing the dance. Trying to do the fucking flash dance thing. Oh man, I remember one of my ex-girlfriends went to see Bewitched. This is shit for anyone outside of the UK, I'm sorry. I went to see Bewitched live. They sang fucking Sailor V, like for their whole set, like 5 times. And then they came out, done another song, and then Sailor V again.
Hayton Radio 1 Roadshow represent, I was there.
Was you? Oh my god! But he does good beer.
With two terrible people with terrible just music tastes meet together, it's a beautiful thing. It's like a negative and a negative makes an uber negative.
But to continue on with the question, from there I was very into hip hop and into a sort of big beat sound. I think Fatboy Slim was the person that brought me into the big beat sound. Obviously a lot of classic rave music and obviously rock music when I started going to a club called The Union in Maidstone where I live, well near where I live. Lived, don't come and find me. And I became obsessed with trying to merge the two, merge the several genres, and no one ever seemed to really appreciate it at the time. But as time moved on, when I became obsessed with artists like The Prodigy and Mad Capsule Markets, pendulum to a degree, I suppose. I started seeing other artists trying to merge those together, and that's the sort of DJ I became. Make sure you put your phone on silent before you start a Q&A. And that's basically what happened. And the way this man, that's silent, the way this man comes into it all is basically I applied to be the spokesperson for Download Festival. If you don't know, well, you should know. If you're into rock music, it's pretty much probably the greatest metal festival in the world.
The greatest. The greatest.
Like the world, not just UK, the world. The world. We're talking Black Sabbath, AC/DC,
Aerosmith.
Yeah, the biggest names in rock going.
No Bewitched, sadly.
Bewitched.
He didn't go. He's never been.
Bewitched and Baby Metal did a thing. It did not work.
Bewitched Metal.
Yeah.
It's calling out for a mashup.
But yeah, the way it worked. I mean, that was about 7-8 years ago.
That was yeah.
About that. I applied and I never got into the final 10, but I was just outside of that final 10, and this man was in the final 10. They got to interview Skin Dread. Would you part of that?
No. I got free tickets.
Yeah.
So I failed against a guy called Adam Elawadahe, which you can't lose. Of course I can't win against that. He had a throw. He was called Adam Elawadahe, which is possibly the most beautifully poetic name in the world. It was awesome. He played Slash. He done. So I had no chance. None of us had any chance. And
I'd like to point out this wasn't 7 years ago. This was nearly 12 years ago now.
Yeah, it was only some time ago.
It was some time, and let's not go into let's not go into the numbers. But
let's not go into the reason the beer belly is developed.
But we got free tickets. We saw each other's presenting thing. I think we were there on the day as well. We might have sort of just seen each other, but then we got to the festival and we were both like, oh my god, you were one of the guys, and he was like, you were the guys at the presenting thing. We ended up, and it sparked a beautiful friendship.
Literally to this day. I mean, I've known all of the DJs since then, but
I got.
There was a spark.
There was a spark. I networked like a bastard. And they were like, do you know any other DJs? I was like, I know the perfect DJ.
I tell you what, the day
I
reckon there was about 12 months. We just didn't speak because it was the last Download Festival.
Yeah.
And one day I got a phone. Fucking hell, who's this? And I thought it was another scam, spam fucking number. Hello, it was Smiley Dave. And he was like, they asked me about other DJs. Do you want to get involved? Yes, I do. Fucking legend.
I don't know about that or that.
No, actual. I'm not just saying that because it's here. Genuine.
Yeah, no, I spread the wealth. I got an opportunity, and every single year people ask for him back. Like all the people, the regulars, they remember us. Like they remember you, they remember me. We both have different sets in a certain way. He does rock dance, which blows the mind of anyone over 32, right? Like if you go to Download Festival, they've got VIP, RIP. I put them in there, and they're just like, hang on, it's just like everything's sort of 4/4 beat, but it's metal. I don't quite understand. Like they were dancing to it, perfect. So and I did have the deputy promoter of Download Festival come up to me and said, "Who DJ'd last night?" I was like, "That was Slope."
And he's only just told me this now.
Yeah. And he was just like, "We need way more of that." And that was 2 years ago. That was 2-3 years ago.
Because the thing is, Download Festival is a metal festival at heart.
Yeah.
But as much as they're bringing in pop punky bands like Bowling for Soup and stuff like that, they're also bringing in. They're happy to bring in bands like The Prodigy. But my belief, the way I take DJing as a whole, no matter what style I'm playing, even if I'm playing a non-rock crowd, is what I intend to do is I plan to play one very, oh my fucking god, get off your chair, get up and dance tune, and then 2 or 3, maybe a few more depending on how late the night goes, not so much, and then bring it back, and then not so much, then bring it back. And it's actually the same way I use my YouTube channel. You'll see Streets of Rage or Splatterhouse or something like that, the complete history. But then you'll see a few Thing on a Spring complete histories. They're important pieces to cover, but then it's important, to
he'll
mix
do
and
a
match.
video with Ashins, and then he'll do a video with Dave.
Can you? Oh no! Is there one? Oh fuck off! Fuck off! Hey, all the ice cream!
this is time for?
This is the worst Q&A ever. I'm so sorry.
Time for a break.
We need to pause a sec.
I'll pause it. Cool, it's recording.
There we are.
There it is. Look at that. We're topped up.
Ice cream on top.
I picked the wrong one.
What have we got going on here?
That's a stout float, I believe.
Yeah, stout float. We got.
Can you hear that? Ginger as soon as we first played.
So we got Obsidian, which is our blueberry stout, 8% blueberry stout, and then as the ice cream man came round, we made it into a float.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. It's fucking insane.
It feels like a bad childhood.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, I'm going to get a lot of comments of people saying that I'm selling out, but it's for beer. It's for a day of drinking beer and ice cream. I'm sort of alright with it, you know?
Peter Kay did it, with John Smith. This is just like an upgrade.
Same, but on a very different level.
The new wave. Slopes woke. DJ woke up in here.
And of course, we already said Rick Mail.
So to continue on what we was talking about, yeah, in a sense, we were both put up for basically be the spokesperson of Download Festival. The way it worked for me is obviously me and you already knew each other by this point. Download Festival eventually rang me up after I didn't get the position and said to me, we made a mistake, we think that you are the person, me and a few other friends that were in my Human Guinea Pigs TV show, if you know about that already. Literally type into YouTube, Human Guinea Pigs, you'll know what I did beforehand. I was in a part of a TV show. Two of the guys from that, we was going to make a TV show, we was going to have a stand at Download Festival, our own tent. They ran out of funds, it just didn't happen. As time went on, I continuously went to Download Festival, which is in Derby, and every single year I always met up with this guy right here. I did a bit of DJing and all that sort of stuff. Actually, to make the story slightly less short, I was DJing in Gravesend, which is where Pocahontas is buried for all of the American people out there. Yes, she was brought to the UK. Disney is a lie. And basically...
Isn't there also a lie that you can see her nipple if you freeze frame it at one point in the cartoon series?
Genuine?
Apparently so. As she's
Everyone right now has now switched off to do that. I hope you.
Thank you.
Apparently, as she's diving down the waterfall,
It's a lie. It's a lie. And also, Gravesend is called Gravesend because that's where the Graves end.
No, it's not.
In the place.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Basically, yeah, I was DJing in Gravesend, and this girl that was in FHM magazine, Front magazine, a few other magazines, called Mel Clark, definitely fantastic model and DJ now.
Co-presenting on Skirts?
Yes, you know her. Basically got hold of me before she was a DJ and said, can you teach me how to DJ? She doesn't talk like that. And I was
Definitely
like,
talks like that. She's a lovely girl.
I was like, yeah, I'll teach you how to
Definitely talks like
DJ.
that.
Just because I was so into DJing. So I told her how to DJ. She, at the time, didn't really know too much, and I was showing her. So why am I teaching you how to DJ?
I'm not her, by the way.
Definitely not. Nothing against you. And yeah, she said, oh, I'm DJing at Download Festival. What? I'd already knew my people at Download Festival. I was like, so I'm teaching your DJs how to DJ. How about getting me a DJ set? And from that point on, I've DJed from at Download Festival, which has been every single year the highlight of my career. There's been a few other points when I DJed at Gravesend on my final gig that anyone will know is what I'm talking about. But yeah, absolute top of the pyramid, I suppose. Like,
It's the hallowed ground. Playing that sort of place is like was amazing. Right? I want it there.
Sorry.
I want it there.
You've got ice cream on your nose, but I was just not going to tell you for a while about.
Me?
Yeah, on your nose.
Oh, come on!
I didn't even see it. I couldn't see it. Right. See, if it went from right to left, I wouldn't be able to see it. But it went from left to right. So. Just smearing it. You're just smearing it in.
Professionally, how do we find DJing? I mean, I'm not really professional anymore. I've moved over to more YouTube stuff. I mean, definitely my most professional is Download Festival, which, this guy called me out of the blue. Oh, you still a DJ? Yes, I am.
My boy. But I find it. I've only stopped doing residency as of New Year this year because it got to a point where everyone's too used to Spotify, Amazon, where everything is like that. If they want it, there has to be happen next. And people didn't want an experience; they just wanted their night to be about them, and it just doesn't work as a collective.
Not that Dave's bitter.
No, I'm not bitter. I love entertaining people, but
It's talking about bitter.
Everyone's
Seamless
got stout.
segue.
But I still enjoy doing it. I now do it on a venue level, so it's not like that one-to-one. Like every request is said. It's more like I play the things. We have a general feel of the night. I play for Emo Nights. Is that all right for the plug? Emo Nights UK, Brooklyn. Not Brixton. Very, very different. Brooklyn.
About 70 to 80% of my audience is America, but hopefully they can come along.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, if you go to the Emo Nights Brooklyn, hopefully they'll send me out there at one point.
Oh God.
It's the ice cream float.
This is why Guinness has a float in the can that doesn't raise up, because this shit happens. This is exactly what happens.
I was just trying to end his talking. Right, end his plug.
I think we should definitely go. Yeah. They're not paying. Not our patrons. Move on.
So thank you very much to Tim. How's it going, Labonte, for that question. We're on to question 4 now out of 7. So that's how far we're going.
Get covered.
Do you have any? This one's from the Geeky Dad. The Geeky Dad is the guy that knows who these guys are. Wild Weather Ales. I was going to say wrestling. Sorry. Wild Weather Ales. Yeah, he knows who you are. When I put up in my Discord channel, I'm going to
shout out to Geeky Dad.
The Geeky Dad. The Geeky Dad. Name or channel you would like me to say or in the Q&A. Geeky Dad Gaming. Geeky Dad Gaming asks the question. Do you have any interest in the upcoming Sega published 2 Point Hospital? What was the oddest thing you saw at Sega HQ? Can we has more streams, please?
Can I has cheeseburgers?
It's okay. Hey, they're 25 to 32. That meme is still relevant.
There's a pub around the corner of me that makes the best cheeseburgers, but I think they may have just become 2nd place. Oh, I was very impressed with the cheeseburgers I had today. Video upcoming. But anyway, Geeky Dad Gaming. Am I interested in 2 Point Hospital?
Yeah.
Hell fucking yes.
Is that like Theme Hospital?
Yeah, so basically this is the spiritual successor.
Nice.
So people around the table that don't know who it is. Sega, I don't know, required the rights. I mean, I don't know about any of this. I went to Sega HQ, but definitely didn't talk about, say, 2 Point Hospital. I didn't even know it was called 2 Point Hospital, whatever. They are making the spiritual successor to Theme Hospital, which is a game to this day that I still play.
Absolutely.
Will it have Peter Molyneux involved?
No.
Hello, you.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. Hello, you. I'm not Guru Larry.
It tells us that.
So
we invited Guru Larry along. Apparently, they can't be in the same room together.
That's an edit. That's the first edit of the video.
So basically, yeah.
Hang on, I'm just going to do this so you know where to edit.
Now.
Because when you see it, hang on a second. There we go. Okay, and now carry on.
I've not had the privilege of playing 2 Point Hospital yet. Am I excited about it? Hell fucking yes. I loved Theme Hospital. I've made a complete history on Theme Hospital. Big fan of Theme Hospital, to the point where I actually play as a band Theme Hospital more.
There's a Band 2 was fantastic.
That was fucking about 7 sequels ago.
Fantastic.
I play Theme Hospital more than I play Theme Park. Yeah. Even though I, in my mind, prefer Theme Park, I'm well up for Theme Hospital. Yeah, definitely.
See, Theme Hospital over Theme Park. Theme Park had the.
You're building a theme park. As a kid, you're building a fucking theme park.
Yeah.
You know?
Except for the PlayStation version that crashed every 30 seconds.
Which is ridiculous because it's actually not much more of a version than the Mega Drive or Mega CD version. No, there wasn't a Mega CD.
Except you could ride the roller coaster, and you couldn't do that in the Mega Drive version.
You could do that in the PC version. It was the exact same visual video in every one. It wasn't playing your roller coaster.
No, the PlayStation one that you could play you could ride your roller coaster.
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
And I've made the complete history. Part 2 coming up.
Oh no.
Part 2.
Ian strikes back.
Never happening.
No, but like Theme Hospital, to me, Theme Hospital and Dungeon Keeper, the same, because they come from the same backstory, the same studio, Bullfrog. They are 2 of my favourite games.
I can't let this hang. Do that.
Sorry, I knew something. I could feel it. I could feel it.
He's at Download Festival, he doesn't shower for 3 days, 5 days. Like, you should make sure it's 2 days beforehand.
You don't need a shower as long as you've got a
I don't
good
even
wipe
wear
in hand.
clothes.
He doesn't. He's just there naked as the day he was born. And everyone's just like, yeah, it's just DJ naked, Slug.
DJ, are you DJ naked, Slug?
It's the alternative, the old. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous.
Should we get the conversation back to theme hospitals?
Let's do that, yeah. So long as they bring back bloaty head
Hospital.
syndrome.
So yeah, I remember you mentioning, was it Dungeon Keeper? At Download Festival when I was at a much smaller Kettle of Fish. This man right here said to me, "If you ever do the Dungeon Keeper, the complete history."
I smoked like 80 cigarettes that day, apparently.
Come to him. Maybe when that day comes. I mean, I've got no plans for it, but maybe.
Have you ever played Dungeon Keeper? Oh my god! Right. Patrons, make sure you ask this question because the Dungeon Keeper.
They get special Let's Plays as well. They can make me play Let's Play games. Yeah.
Right. When it comes to Let's Play, make sure he plays Dungeon Keeper, at least Dungeon Keeper 2. In fact, he's doing the complete history. He'll go from Dungeon Keeper 2 to the War for the Overworld.
Dave, I don't know what Dungeon Keeper is. What's Dungeon Keeper?
You animal! I think actually we're both over here. Like,
Oh my god! Like so.
actually, it's a shade over it.
That's lovely.
Nice.
Do you know what? This is
I'm happy with the ice cream in my stout weather ale beer. No, am I saying it wrong? Wild weather beer.
If you come down here, I recommend never trying this combination.
God.
The stout on its own is stunning. For that exact reason! The ice cream doesn't melt, it just stays there floating, waiting for this!
I didn't bring myself any clean trousers.
You should have known better when you come to a wild weather ale event. Always bring a second pair of trousers!
This is my first wild weather event.
Oh no.
Yeah, Dungeon Keeper, it's alright. There you go, that's the end of that.
I think that might have to be a time for moving on.
And to answer the question,
Finally.
What's the question?
what was the oddest thing that you saw at Sega HQ? Can we has more streams, please?
More streams, Dungeon Keeper!
Yes, basically the way it's working with Slope's Game Room is I am in a full-time job at the moment. The idea of doing a stream, a small video and a big video every week is just too much in a 9-to-5 job as well. I just can't do it. I hope my boss doesn't see this, but I do want to take full-time YouTube full-time. Sorry, Adrian. So basically, that will happen eventually. And yes, streams are going to happen periodically. Periodically, is that word?
Periodically.
Periodically. That's what I was trying to say.
Sporadically.
Don't blame me. Blame the.
Stout
Blame the.
floats.
What is it? The
End of level boss.
End of level boss beers,
9.2.
which is 9.2%. What's it a reference to? Mario. Maybe not.
No Marios.
No, Mario.
You'll
No.
notice that he's not holding a spanner, he's holding a fish, which makes it not a Mario.
Yeah, why did you use a fish?
Why not? You were gonna
Yeah,
slap
come on. There's got to be a reference.
If you were gonna slap a gorilla, what would you slap it with?
Fish. That's
Yeah.
true. That is
Fish,
true.
yeah, a large cod.
So yeah,
Or
more,
haddock, because
I
more
will
sustainable.
do more streams from time to time. In actual fact, I'd like to bring Mrs. Slope.
Did we
into
just go
these
from fish to
streams.
streams really quickly?
Ah!
Awful.
So yeah, more streams will happen with or without fish, and basically they may or may not include my wife because I'd like to include her. Because the other day I said to her, my favourite console is the Mega Drive. Do you know what the American name is for that? And she said no. Okay, I'll tell you. The Genesis. And as I continued on, but do you remember what the English name is? And she's like, Super Nintendo. What? So enjoy that. We're talking Carl Pilkington levels of gaming knowledge.
Are you going to be the new Barry Lewis? Is just the whole of your
I'm
family
in the
going
new
to come
fucking
in?
Ricky Gervais, but it's only
Except for maybe
Ricky
funny.
Gervais, but your wife is Carl Pilkington.
yeah, but only in gaming arenas. Like, she doesn't know what a VMU is, which probably, let's be honest, 90% of the world doesn't know what a VMU is. But anyway, and tell me something about the Sega offices. I'll tell you something pretty cool. Is their meeting rooms were themed after games, more newer games. They had Football Manager room, which I didn't go in, thank God.
Yeah.
But one of their other rooms was a Company of Heroes room, which...
While we do the Football Manager, can I just do a quick shout out to a friend of mine from Football Manager?
Go on.
He spent a chap called Ed Wiley, good friend of mine. He spent so long in university playing Football Manager that he drove himself a little bit mental, and he got, I think he got Edinburgh into the cup final. But as he'd indulged in so much drinking and spent so much time the whole summer by himself in the room, that before he played the final, he turned it onto the slowest setting, had a shave and put a suit on before he played the game.
Do you actually know the person he's talking about, and that did happen with a horrific Scottish accent.
I'm gonna try and bring up the stream a little bit. That stream. Fucking hell, I'm talking about you now. I'm pretending I'm you. I remember once as a teenager, I done this insane amount of, I don't know, 100 fucking tricks moves. Fuck off! Tony Hawk move.
Oh, now we're talking.
Tony Hawk's. And I had infinite grind cheat on. And I was on a fucking roundabout or something, I don't remember. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to bed. And I turned the telly off, but not the computer. And I went to bed and I woke up and it was like times a billion or whatever. And no, this is the best bit. And I was like, all I've got to do is fucking land this. And I didn't. And I fucking went, ah! Fucked up. I can't even remember what we were talking about anymore.
No, but that was the dream. That was the dream to have that. There was a roundabout. There was a fucking roundabout.
Genuine.
You do like.
I fucked it up. And I never tried a second attempt.
Oh, brilliant.
Honestly, I sort of take it, yeah. Company of Heroes, they had a room based on Company of Heroes, which even though I'm a console gamer, Company of Heroes is a fucking fantastic RTS game. The room that I was in was actually almost themed after a bunker, like all the rooms looked a bit gritty and dirty. They had like old, man, I'm gonna kill myself. Edit this section in, but basically there was like old Kellogg's from the 1930s. Like, it looks really fucking good. But then also HD TVs, which killed us. It looked really good. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And I got to meet their video editors and made the. And what do you guys use? Oh, you know, they're all sitting there. We use Premiere. What do you use? I use Vegas. Yeah, so I felt like a bit of a dick. There were so many cars. I'm sorry, but you know. Hello, everybody. We're continuing because this isn't the end of the Q&A. Oh no.
Well, most people would quit, so wants to carry on.
We might get one set of questions.
That's how much he loves you.
So a big shout out to the Geeky Dad, one of my patrons, who actually knows
Wild Weather Ales.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Big Geeky Dad. That's not
The
right.
Geeky Dad.
The Geeky Dad.
The Geeky Dad. Fuck
Big
Big
up to you,
Geeky
my
Dad.
man. Good
Right,
big up
he's a
to you.
pretender to the title.
So Geeky Dad, massive respect. Complete history beer coming your way. Coming up we have Richard Carter, aka Fantastic Dizzy, which is my favourite Dizzy game. But anyway, he asks, what is your editing software of choice, please? Thank you. So my editing software of choice, I'm going to hopefully get this around the right way because I'm not in front of my computer right now, I'm in front of a beer. But my editing software of choice, I think, is 14, Vegas 14. Whatever the latest version is, -1. I think it's 14's the one that I use and 15's the latest one. I think 15 you need a little bit more of a beefier PC, which I don't have. I will have in about 7 or 8 months' time. That's what I'm using. What about you? What are you using?
Adobe Premiere Pro. It just thinks like I've learned more. I've learned everything from YouTube. I've never had any like sort of like Google Analytics, Google what is it called? Groupon sessions of training. And YouTube has taught me everything I need to know about Adobe Premiere. And there's so much stuff for Adobe Premiere. There's a Premiere Gal who is amazing at giving people advice on how to add.
I tell you what, anyone that's wanting to start a YouTube channel, any type of editing, even if it's not YouTube, like go to YouTube.
Yeah. 100%. 1000%. I've never. Yeah. I now have a job working for a huge corporate.
You can say, I don't mind.
No, I'm not going to say it. But I work for like a massive company, and I am
They're very big on Facebook.
But anyway,
And they're lads.
they're not. That's the other one.
Ah.
Now I'm going to say it's uni days, right? Like uni days. So I make video content for students for Gen Z, 14 to 24, and I use Adobe Premiere Pro, and we only hire people that haven't been to university, that have it as a passion, that have learned from YouTube, or learned it because they wanted to learn it, not learn it because it was something they had to do to fill a quota. Which I know it seems like a bad thing, but after 3 years of being taught it by, a clone of every other person that's trying to teach it, you need someone with passion that wants to learn the extra, learn the After Effects, learn the different things. So Adobe Premiere Pro for me, but any software.
Windows Movie Maker.
Didn't we all at one point? Didn't we all?
I'm at a Download Festival. I made my videos on my phone, on my 6 Plus iMovie, and it was greatly received. Like, I was the first person to put a video about Download because it was on the Thursday. Did the DJ set, uploaded it there and then. It doesn't matter. As long as you have an eye for like what is interesting, make sure that when you watch it back, you're not bored. If you're bored for a short amount of time, they're going to be bored for a long amount of time. That's it.
And if you need a star fade, I'm your man.
Can I just say, it's so fucking hot.
It is toasty.
It is. We are.
There are parts of the
sweating.
world that are like this all the time.
They have less weather.
But it's climatization. It's climatization. I've been freelance for 13 years. When I started a new job,
That's a nice way of saying unemployed.
The best way of saying unemployed.
You're his friend, you can say this.
But at the same time, like when I started my job, I couldn't hack it for the first month. Doing the commuting, waking up early, doing the 9 to 5, absolutely hated it. I went through 3 bottles of rescue.
And that was just when you started?
And that's just when I started.
Dave, what time were you supposed to turn up this morning?
But! Okay, I might have been like 5 hours late today. But
5 hours late. Minutes, not minutes.
But what I'm saying is climatization. Like right now it is beautifully sunny, we are not used to it, we are sweating like a bastard. You go to Tenerife, you spend more than 3 weeks out there, you're climatized, right? But it's the same with jobs, it's with the same with any experience. Try anything for 3 weeks and then decide how you feel about it. Because it's climatization. The same with the sun, the same with work, but the same with any other situation. You have to climatize to the new thing that's happening.
In short, what he's saying is when he comes to anything that he needs to be actually at, like anything that's relevant, he's playing Bob Marley on his CD player and he's playing Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Do you know what? It is April 20th. I'm just saying it's 4:20 today. Like, I'm just saying.
He's only been here a couple of hours.
Go out.
Moving on.
Yeah.
This is question 6 of 7. I've got a couple of other ones after that.
We're flying.
Number 1, could you tell us more about the board game you are thinking of funding on via Kickstarter? Does it have a theme? Yes, it definitely does have a theme. This is something that me and my wife are working on. So, for people that don't know, obviously I do the Kick Scammer series, and I'm
very successful Kick Scammer series as well.
Yeah, it's actually overtaken my complete history series. I never thought anything that I'd ever do would take over that. But basically, yeah, I'm like this because it's so bright. But basically, the Kick Scammer series. I'm looking to do a Kickstarter based on a board game that me and my wife have been working on for several years. Well, on and off. We haven't actually worked on it for a couple of months, but it's basically themed around, I want to say, incarceration. It's themed around incarceration. It's looking good, and it will feature your favourite YouTube characters. I wonder who that is. Hello, you. Yeah, I wonder who that is. By the way, I haven't even asked him, but he will be. So that will happen. And the second part of her question is, what are your thoughts on Spyro Remastered? Not really your cup of tea, or do you think that it is good that they are giving the same attention to the Crash Bandicoot series? So, Spyro Remastered, what are you thinking?
I was never a big Spyro fan. I didn't mind Spyro, much as I spoke about Spyro earlier with Crop. I didn't mind Spyro, but all of those early 3D PlayStation games just seemed like they were so far behind the N64 games. There was some good N64 3D ones, but they all had the tank controls and it was hard work, and Spyro was just let's run around and headbutt a lot of people for a long time. I didn't like it.
I missed out on the whole Spyro thing, so I don't have a horse in this race, which sucks.
Yeah, Spyro was never a never a game I really played hugely, but like it's always good to see these games getting back in the limelight.
I mean, we can all agree that Spyro is a worthwhile character.
Oh yeah,
to come back. The thing is with Spyro for me is, I mean, obviously I knew Crash and all that sort of stuff, but by the point that Spyro came out, I literally remember being at the very end of secondary school when Spyro was a big thing, and being more into DJing. And I remember a couple of girls actually, up to my girl female players out there, but they were the people that were really into Spyro. And including my sisters. My sisters are really big fans of Spyro games.
Haven't we already had a Spyro remake though? Wasn't Skylanders essentially just a massive Spyro remake?
Not really. I mean, they had Spyro in it. It was just one of the characters.
It was one of the characters. It's Disney. It's like they had everything.
My sister's got this fucking ridiculous cabinet full of Spyro characters. Skylander Spyro.
Whose drawings are amazing, and needs to put these out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Insane
Really fucking good. Here's a picture she done earlier. There you go. So I'm happy that it's happening, but I've got no personal the same as these guys. Yeah.
I think Spyro for me, because I was big into the games. I don't know if I mentioned, didn't have a lot of money growing up. Have I mentioned that? I think I mentioned that. But Spyro to me was too cutesy at that time, and it was either like at that time for me. Well, when did it come out? Like 20.
I want to say
27?
No, I don't think it might be even earlier. 27, 28?
I think
no, 1997, 1998.
Yeah.
So, like 2006, I mean, I would have been 20.
97, 98.
Oh, 97, 98.
Yeah, it was around there.
Then in that case, I just missed out on the whole thing. Like, because I was still in the cute stuff. I've always loved cute stuff, like from way back. But like, Spyro just missed me
in the year 2000.
I'm not an N64 fan, but I think I would, as a gamer looking back, I think I would choose something like Bandicoot over. And I had no affiliation with any of them.
What's the Crash Bandicoot? Crash Bandicoot was a huge thing.
Crash Bandicoot was weird.
But it's such.
Crash Bandicoot is the perfect example of changing 2D to 3D. It was still linear. It was still just going from one point to the second point.
Yeah.
It was moving forward. So it almost seems like the perfect transition moment where it was still like, this is cool. You know, it wasn't the point where if you look at 3D games, you're like, oh, that's a little bit shitty.
I think it's like there's lots of people.
That's why the Insane trilogy did so well.
I think that the niche that retro has on people is why they're remastering stuff like Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare 2. Out of all the Call of Duties, I know you guys aren't big FPS players.
No, I hate FPS.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a car.
There's a car. But the FPS, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, single-handedly was one of the best things. I have never joined up with friends better than I have done in that scenario.
Yes, you have. GoldenEye.
I'm fucking hogs of war.
Obviously not this guy.
All right, GoldenEye was great, but GoldenEye is
GoldenEye. I mean, I'm guessing because I didn't know Smiley Dave back then, but I'm guessing GoldenEye brought people to your living room.
Yeah, that's it.
And Modern Warfare brought people. Yeah.
That's exactly. And Modern Warfare, it was Modern Warfare 2. It wasn't Modern Warfare. It wasn't any others. It was Modern Warfare 2 that was such a pinnacle, such a turning point, I believe, in games in general. Which is why those arseholes at whatever they're called, COD, are using this sort of platform to go, hey, we're going to play on the millennials and remaster Call of Duty 2. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
They did everything like Halo 2 was known as the Halo multiplayer game. Again, Modern Warfare, Halo, it's not my bag.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I can understand why people are, oh fucking hell, they're remastering that shit? Yeah. It's the important thing with being a video game YouTuber to understand that, yeah, I don't know that stuff from back in the day, but I appreciate that stuff. That's important.
No, absolutely.
You know, and exactly like you say, like, you know, Modern Warfare brought people, yeah.
It was the first example I had of people actually coming together, and like I was talking to people that I'd have a normal conversation with. We'd be talking about girls, we'd be talking about bands, we'd be talking about music. When it comes to this, we're talking about Modern Warfare, but we're having a laugh with it. We're talking about like sort of tactics. We're talking about like different things we can do and that sort of thing. And that was brand new to me, and it was like, oh my god, this is like an awakening. Like, that's what Modern Warfare 2. I get why they're doing it. I don't know how it's going to go down. I
have very close friends that are into that stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. It's not me. It was me coming back into gaming. I've never been into first-person shooters that much with controllers. There's been a few instances.
I like Nintendo's new version, not new version anymore.
Splatoon.
Yeah, I like Splatoon.
Yeah, that's sort of got a little bit of motion attack if you add that on.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
But
I did. I thought it was good. It was good.
That also adds to the cartoony effect that normal, that like people trying to make things a reality situation can be fine, but you put a cartoony aspect to it. The reason why Fortnite is doing better than PUBG is because it has that cartoony aspect to it, where you don't have, oh yeah, that's not realistic. That's fine. It's a cartoony aspect. Do you know what I mean? Although like the laws of physics still work.
Oh, give me a SpongeBob shooter any day.
I'll tell you what, here's something for you. I'm going to tell you two things, right? So remind me of the second thing, because I forget. Your beer. Basically, in Japan, the way, this is my understanding of it, talking to Jimmy Happer, people may say that I'm completely wrong. But basically, you know the way that you have that in the UK, you have a lot of, I'm into JRPGs. As much as that's a big thing online, that's not a big thing in the fucking global sense, you know, in the UK global sense, you know. A lot of people that are into JRPGs are very much the minority. In Japan, it's very much the same thing. JRPGs is a big thing, but the big FPS, Halo people, they are on the minority. But people, I'm well into UK gaming. So it's the flip.
Yeah.
Splatoon brought that together.
Yeah.
Splatoon was the game that people would literally Jimmy Happer, fantastic. That's a van. That's a van.
Head straight in. There's guys in there that'll look after you.
Go in, sure. They've got customers too. Wild Weather Ale. So basically, Splatoon was the game
but Nintendo
that
never
made
supported
Japanese.
voice, which is such a shame, isn't it?
Oh, I know. But you got to look at it from a Japanese point of view. Their idea when they're bringing out a Splatoon 2 or those Splatoon updates on the original Wii U, they're not focusing on the UK. They're focusing on the fucking on the Japanese market. Well, obviously the UK as well, but we're talking the Japanese market, and the Japanese market want that. The story is they would actually go to McDonald's to play things like Monster Hunter and Splatoon because of the free Wi-Fi and join in with their little clans that they brewed over a fucking Big Mac. Honestly, that's the way of the world in Japan. That's the way it is.
We're gonna have to let Matt go for a second. He's got a customer.
Hi everyone. See you soon.
Mensky fan.
Mensky.
the
Although I'd say Mensky does sound like a drug in Fallout Boy. Like not Fallout Boy.
Fallout Boy.
Fallout.
You're going down.
I'm going.
Hello, you. Getting more drunk now. DJ Son from Slope Games Room, and I'm here at Wild Weather's Ale.
Close enough.
Wild
Weather Ales.
Wild Weather Ales. They're pretty cool because they're making the complete history. You know it because the way I've edited it just seamlessly goes on from the last question.
Surely we're an hour into this thing now. So like yeah.
I've lost it. Let me just go into my apps. It's pretty full on. And the thing is, what makes it even more ridiculous is the fact that we're still answering the last question. So SurveyMonkey is just opening up, as you can see. And SurveyMonkey asks us, view all results, 7 of them. And SurveyMonkey asks us, it was about Yakuza.
It was.
Yeah.
You just touched my nipple.
It's better than just being today. Do you have any interest in upcoming Sega published? Before we get into more of your opinion, let's talk about the other people around us.
Let's do it. Well, they can introduce themselves, I'm sure.
On the spot!
Hi, Chris.
By the way, when I put the camera on, you're going to be introducing yourself.
Okay.
None of this will be edited because I'm too lazy.
So go. This is your time.
Oh, great. I'm Chris.
It's your name.
Okay.
So your name and two awesome things about yourself.
Two.
I'm Chris.
I haven't pooed while sitting down.
No. You're gonna start with.
To be fair,
Hey,
that's
I'm
actually
Chris.
quite good for it.
Yeah, that is good.
Okay.
What?
Just start,
Maybe I
start
could have
again.
been given
He's
some
gonna
credit.
edit this. He's gonna edit. So it's boom.
What's
Your
happened
face.
is I sat
Your.
down
Huh?
and I've been told to say awesome things.
Say your name. Hello, I'm
myself.
Chris, and and I haven't shat myself today.
Yeah. That's one.
Cool.
There we go.
Done it.
Do it.
But I'm not Chris, and I have shat myself.
I'm Chris. I don't want to do.
JD?
That's
I
Chris.
don't want to be in your video, Slope.
You can't say,
Fuck off.
You can't say awesome things about yourself.
All right. I'll say awesome things about
He's
him.
a
He hasn't
dickhead.
shot himself today, and he smells
shot loud when I
mildly like
Pops.
a used tea bag.
Yeah. He's got a voice like an angel when he sings.
And you can reuse tea bags according to Sooty and friends.
Only if you've got a little plate near the teacup.
Can I just interrupt my own stream? This man does amazing burgers. Originally I thought it was the second best burgers, but I think he may be pushing himself.
Pushing himself down to the third best burger. Now that they're sitting.
And we're moving on to...
Hello, I'm JD. I said a joke earlier and I laughed at it myself. And then reminded everyone about how funny I am.
And you're in a band
I'm in a band, yeah.
called.
The Curious Sounds.
Curious Sound.
And you play.
If I'm bothered, I'll
Squeeze
put
box.
something on the bottom of the screen.
Link in the description below. Description
It
below.
won't be. Please don't say that, because I've got to edit that shit.
Don't put a link.
By the way, everything we talk about, there are
Annotation.
links in the description below.
Fuck off!
Like,
I'll put annotations all over the screen.
Or you
No,
can
don't
just
cancel.
click here.
Yeah. You can click here.
If you want to
click on
find
the
any
eye
more
up there.
information out,
So I would like to introduce you to...
Just click on the eye up there.
I would like to introduce Smiley Dave, who's the annotation man of 2001.
I'd like to apologise for the lack of annotations on this video right now.
On behalf of you.
But if you
On
click his
behalf of
face,
whatever.
it'll go straight to his channel.
That
for anyone who wants this transcribed, by the way.
None of that shit is happening.
SmileyDaveUK.
None of that. I don't even know if any of this shit's happening. Hello, patrons. This might be exclusive to you. So I had this shit exclusively, no, not exclusive, publicly ready. I may have already submitted this, but oh no, this is the very last question. So we go to respondent 6. Look, you can look at this as negative, but I've got fucking the complete history beer. Like, come on. Could you tell us more about the board game you are thinking of?
We've done that one.
Have we?
No,
We've done-
we haven't. We don't know if he filmed it, so we're doing a recap.
Oh, seamless, okay.
We have to
We haven't
stay
done that
quiet.
one, yeah.
So everything you just said might not have happened.
Take quiet for that this moment.
The idea, me and my wife Joanne.
Was that a burp after you did that? Then you literally just go,
Anyone else? No. Shit. My wife.
Sorry, right.
None of this is
Hang on.
going
No,
in.
right. Right, I'm gonna do this so you know it's like
Ow.
nice edit.
Edit.
Hang on.
I'm generally not editing any of these. Basically,
The board game.
Ian's got a funny colour.
so a lot of people are asking because I have 2 series. I have the complete. I have more than 2 series, but I have the complete history and I have the Kick Scammer series. And I always emphasise in the Kick Scammer series that I am going to start my own Kickstarter board game.
Not the King Scammer.
No, that's the name of the series.
Alright.
So the Kickstarter series is my idea of bringing forward my own board game that me and my wife have been working on for a couple of years. It's I remember telling you about this now on camera. So basically, it's a board game themed around incarceration. It's quite exciting. We've been working on it for quite a few times. There will be a few cameos. I haven't asked him yet, but he'll be in there. We're talking Mr. I don't want to say it, Mr. Barry Rundy, or Mr. Bashins. I mean, I haven't asked any of these people, but I'm hoping they'll attend. Into the board game printing. They'll get a free copy if they pay for the postage.
The angry Nidio game bird.
Try wearing
I don't even know what the question was about. So basically, asking, it was about my board game. So the idea is I'm going to make a board game around incarceration. Incarceration.
Right.
Inebriation.
Incarceration. Being drunk and in prison. That'll be a fucking game.
Aren't you just doing Cluedo the follow-up?
What?
Believe me, no one killed fucking...
No.
No one killed
Ludo with the
Mr. Orange in the laboratory with the candlestick. That's not this board game.
Yeah, but after you've committed a murder, prison, isn't it?
Yeah,
Did you just mix Reservoir Dogs and Cluedo together?
Reservoir Dogs.
I watched that movie.
It was Chris in the lake.
The worst fishing program I've ever watched.
Called Mr. Pink.
But he also did answer, in case the camera fucked up earlier.
After you said answer.
Are we live?
It's recording. So,
Great.
Worst scenario.
So that's the intro done.
If you follow through with your, this is an edited thing, I swear to God, this is you'll lose people.
So, just in case, what are your thoughts on Spyro Remastered? Not really your not really your cup of tea, or do you think it's as good? It's good that they are giving it the same attention that Spyro. The Crash Bandicoot sequel got. Do you think it's good that they give it the same?
Again.
This is from somebody else. Who was this from?
Haven't we had this one?
Yeah, you heard it. You was in there.
Re-record it because
Have you got an opinion on Spyro?
This is from. I definitely didn't say this. This is from Daisy Blonde 87. No one heard that before.
No, you didn't.
Daisy Blonde 87.
No, new one. Hello.
So, thoughts on the Spyro remake? I've said my shit. If you didn't hear it, as a patron, you will.
Hello, Daisy Blonde.
Final question. Yeah, that was it. Oh,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
We're on chat for 5 minutes and then it carries on.
That was Daisy Blonde. Question 6.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah,
that was
we answered it.
a great question that none of us answered.
The final part of the question, not really your cup of tea, but do you think it's think that they are giving the same attention Crash Bandicoot got last year? The Spyro sequel.
The Crash Bandicoot can.
Yeah, but you got to think about the fact that the Spyro sequel, is it getting the same amount of attention that the Crash Bandicoot?
Oh, is it getting
Not at all.
as much hype?
100%
No.
not.
No, I wouldn't say
No,
yeah.
Crash-
no.
When Crash Bandicoot came out, Unilad, all the fucking big.
No. You got to think about the sequel.
No. I mean,
The
remastered.
rebranding.
Yeah. It came out.
Yeah,
like,
Crash
a
was
massive
everywhere
way.
again, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but that's just
I didn't
a
even-
reflection
it
on
was
what
a
going on
thing.
when they first came out.
The reason why Spyro is a thing is because Crash Bandicoot was a thing. Everyone's like, oh my fucking god, Crash Bandicoot back. Oh my god, I hope they bring Spyro back. That was the reason Spyro came back, because Crash Bandicoot was such a thing.
Bring back Parappa the Rapper and let's just be done with
No,
it.
but it did.
I know.
You look
They
at the
have,
timeline
you.
though of Crash and Spyro though. One of the reasons that people started playing Spyro
punch,
is
swerve.
because they enjoyed Crash. Yes. So, for example, Crash comes out.
But I would like to say it's only the hardcore PlayStation fans. People that, like me, I stayed with PlayStation and then I moved off.
Yeah.
But while I moved off, people stayed
man.
on and they experienced Spyro. And like you didn't really.
I was a big Spyro, but when Crash Bandicoot came out, that's all I saw on my Facebook, on my feeds, on Twitter, on the
You
gaming
did not see
streams.
fucking Crash Bandicoot on your Facebook.
I did.
You did not.
I did too.
I
I'm
did.
with you,
I
man.
definitely did.
I did.
Like
No,
it
you
was
didn't.
huge.
Yeah.
Gameology. What's it?
So good,
Diddley,
you
not
know,
Diddley.
Gameology.
What's his name?
Ned Flanders?
No, Dodley. Oh
Oh,
God.
it was the devil once.
No, I'm very drunk, but he's like Dodley.
Ned Flanders.
Hadley Ho,
That's
neighbour.
it. Ned Flanders.
Ned was there. Like he's a huge influencer for me. Like I think what we like.
What are we talking about?
Why are you
I
talking
don't
about
even know
normal
anymore.
shit? You're trying to
Moving
fucking
on. Last question. Let's
Something about Killinara. Right.
This'll all be
Dodgy
saved in the
gaming or
end.
something. Diddly gaming.
I doubt it.
I don't know.
Unless it's 10 minutes of blank.
Ned Flanders Red.
That's right.
Question.
I want a bear.
What a
Hang
name
on.
for a beer!
I want my bear. All right, sorry.
This answer goes to Ring J5 at Ring J5, and he asked me, I may have already submitted this, but I don't think it will actually sent. When are you going to play Yakuza 0?
Can I just? There's a beep from that camera just then. Can someone just check to see if there's a battery in there?
Wait, did you put a battery in it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
then
just
it's
making
probably
sure.
still
There was
there,
just a slight beep that came from it.
It appears to be alright.
Is there a red?
There's a red circle, yeah.
All right, sick. All right.
We actually did this last time,
Yeah,
and there
that's
was all
why I'm
okay, and then it was dead. But
Okay.
never mind. If I have already submitted that, another question. What are your thoughts on the reveal of the Mega Drive Classic is just a rebrand of the App Games machine?
Is this like a Mega Drive for the
So
like a micro SNES?
let's start off seriously. Let's start off with Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0. Any thoughts?
Don't know it.
Not played
Don't
it.
know it. Yeah.
So for anybody that doesn't know, a lot of people.
Is it the same? Is that the remake of the same guy that made the Doom game that then made that terrible game afterwards? They had a Katana. Oh no, that was Katana. That wasn't.
Just
Yakuza.
stick with making the beer because you're fucking good at that. Right.
Is it?
But also,
That's an interesting question.
there's some internal.
A lot of people will say. So this is what you've got to understand. There's a little bit of a cross paths. So there was Shenmue 1, then there was Shenmue 2, and there was nothing. And Yakuza come out, Yakuza 2, Yakuza 3. Then, oh my god, a fucking E3 came out. Oh my god, they're going to release Shenmue 3. So that's when the point came around, maybe beforehand a little bit, where basically people said, you like Shenmue? Go and check out Yakuza, because it is the new Shenmue. So, has anyone here played Shenmue?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. But it's only fair to give a shout out to City of Dogs as well, which was an incredible Yakuza-based game.
There was a bit of an argument about that earlier, I believe.
Well, Dave was
I
trying to
remember
remember
that.
Oh no, it wasn't even. Oh my god, it wasn't City of Dogs. It wasn't Watch Dogs.
Streets of Dogs!
No! Ow! What are you doing? It was.
City of Dogs.
It was.
Yeah, Dave was on Hidden Dogs, Submerged
Sleeping
Dogs.
Yeah, Sleeping
Surveillance
I don't
Dogs.
know.
Surveillance Dogs.
No, it's
He
not
got it
City
down
of
to
Dogs.
what?
I do not want to put my dog in that care.
City of Dogs. That would have been a different game.
Don't shame this.
Hardest thing to edit.
Oh yeah.
I think the last.
I'll get this
hour
out by
has been
Sunday,
written
he
off.
says.
So basically, moving on, Yakuza 0. Anyone got any suggestions? Anyone got any opinions?
No opinions on that.
I've seen some gameplay from it. And
Yeah,
it
play
looks
So
lovely.
I'm actually, even though I'm a hardcore Sega fan, going to the office and stuff, I don't have any opinion on Yakuza. I don't.
Well, the
Nothing.
triads.
Well, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
The answer
sorry.
is we don't know. But we had some banter in the making of. And
Absolutely.
some beer, it would seem.
If I have already submitted that, another question. What are your thoughts on the reveal of the Mega Drive Classic is just a rebranded 80 games machine? So, did I say his name?
We did not.
His name is Jgear at Ring J5. At Ring J5. Go and check him out. So basically, Nintendo have come out of their Nintendo Mini and their Super Nintendo Mini. Sega have tried to do the same thing that dare I say it, but doing it beforehand.
But there were lots of little tiny shitty versions of it, weren't there? They didn't do a good version.
That's the thing. Yeah,
We're talking emulators, and we're talking
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I mean all of them are emulators, but Act Games are the people that have got the licensing from Nintendo, from Sega, sorry, to do that releasing mini versions of their console thing.
Okay.
And recently at FES, that's it. We're doing the Mega Drive Mini. Everyone lost their shit until Act Games are doing it. So that's the question. Is it an issue that Act Games are doing it?
I think there's like loads to be said about like healthy competition. Otherwise, you're just left with
So you're looking at it from the fact that Nintendo
business
is
point of
already
view.
doing it, and now Sega are jumping on the bandwagon.
As long as it's quality. Like,
Yeah.
As long as it's not just another old Mega Drive with the 16 good games and the rest of them were all dog shit.
I think.
And then, I know. And with
Marco's Magic Football, my friend.
with terrible, with terrible controllers, because every Mega Drive clone I've had has just had terrible controllers, and I've sold it 2 weeks later.
Is that not a remembrance of you for the fact of how shitty the original controller was?
I've still got an original Mega Drive. I quite like the original controllers.
Yeah, I've still got a blister.
By the way, he lives in 19.
I mean, I agree. I think the Mega Drive is the greatest console ever made, so I'm on your boat. But I'm. Yeah.
I have. Still there.
Where is it?
Oh, it's gone now.
Oh god, that was like such a fucking
Punter in
Monty
the
Python
middle.
moment.
Yeah, well done, Dave.
She told me
Went
to
for that
listen.
fucking obvious trap.
Yeah, so long,
basically-
as it's done well.
So let's look at this.
They make great beer. They're not great people.
Well, to be fair, we never said we were great.
Let's look at this.
We never said we make great beer. You said that.
We'll take it.
Great,
Because we're bastards.
great people. Terrible beer. What is it?
That
What
should
do
be
we?
our strap line. Wild weather.
Sorry.
Great beer.
Terrible
people.
Let's look at this from a personality point of view.
Yeah.
The Nintendo released not just only, you know, your Mario Brothers, your Super Mario Brothers 3, you know, the best games on that system, but to Nintendo's credit, they also released Nintendo games that weren't part of their original regime, you know, part of their original
Eventually.
license. You know, there was Ghouls and Ghosts games on there. That's not Nintendo.
Eventually.
No, from the get-go.
Yeah, the minis, the Sega
Oh,
Mini.
really?
Yeah,
Nintendo.
Nintendo minis.
But Sega couldn't even release. I hate saying it because I'm talking to Sega right now. But
Don't
didn't-
say it.
But they didn't release Sonic 3, one of their fucking main games. Sonic 3, and they didn't release Sonic and Knuckles onto the main console. What have they missed out other than that?
On the Sega.
On the Sega Mega Drive Mini or whatever they call it.
Do you want-
To be fair, they haven't announced what games are on there, but
I reckon there's gonna be like an Echo the Dolphin. But it's gonna be like an eco.
can I just say,
It's gonna be eco-friendly version.
Can I just
like,
say,
people
as
be
part
attaching
of their-
Eco the
plastic,
Dolphin.
as part
like
of their
fucking,
no,
like a beer
no.
thing, like.
You know what? I am all about Mega. I am
It's all
all
going
about.
behind the radar, isn't it?
I am all about Echo the Dolphin because I remember literally picking up one of those fucking flower things, blowing it. I wish for Echo the Dolphin, and I never got it. But when I eventually got Echo the Dolphin, it's not on the new Mega Drive Mini.
That seems a shame because that was
Yeah,
one of the.
And we're talking Mega Drive Classic Collection. The collection is on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So basically, the way it works, the reason why I am in contact with Sega right now is basically because they're releasing a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One edition of the Mega Drive Collection. Echo the Dolphin is not part of those games.
Why is that?
I believe that it's totally because they understand the advertisement of the people they're talking to. So the new generation don't want to see a dolphin or any animal, like put any literal animal put in a.
Except for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, but
How many blue fucking hedgehogs
I
have
don't
you
really know
seen?
if you could consider
Giving
Sonic
the
a
business to
hedgehog.
an elderly bald man.
Not
Crash
literally.
Bandicoot.
It's like a Christmas guy.
I would like to say, for the record,
mole
that Sonic has
Santa.
never fucked Robotnik.
Isn't there a Kung Fu Panda game? Because you could argue he's a panda.
Yeah, but we're going to Wii territory. We're talking that
No,
3
but
generations
the
later.
question Dave just asked was, how many animals do you see in games?
Yeah.
No, literal animals. Kung Fu Panda is clearly a panda that's been animated.
I would like to throw
Dolphin.
Bubsy into
to
the
be
ring.
fair, Crash
Hey.
Bandicoot.
Oh.
Bandicoot's an animal, right? I saw a Bandicoot.
Goat Simulator.
And it wasn't wearing trousers.
Oh, right. First of all, it wasn't wearing trousers. It wasn't eating apples in
Well,
boxes.
Hang on, that's
A
a
lot
common
from my
misconception.
Q&A,
No,
really.
fuck you.
One
No.
fruit. I've got a mate that calls them apples as well. It drives me around the bend.
It's an apple.
It's
It's
not.
fully a fucking apple.
It's Wumpa fruit.
Okay, that's a good argument, but it's a
Also,
fucking
your
apple.
beef seems to be
It's
with
an
animated
apple.
animals.
If it looks like an apple and walks like an apple.
You
I
get-
sound like
you
a
get-
racist. I sound like a racist right now.
Tastes like an
If it
apple.
walks like an apple, it looks like an apple. It's a fucking apple.
Much footage from this.
You get a pet bandicoot and feed it apples, you'll fucking kill it.
No, I will put it through challenges to get from A to B.
One per fruit
and
only.
put him through getting from a point where I'm just like, okay, you can eat along the way and stuff and jump over shit, and then I'll put him in a mine cart and I'll send him through, and if he gets Simon's, then he lives.
Good, but they're not apples.
Fuck me.
They're fucking apples! Of course they're apples! They look like apples!
So the at-game system.
Well, a tangerine looks like an orange.
Putting the Crash Bandicoot game aside, which is 2 generations later, moving on! I started the recording again so I can last.
Alright.
I mean, it's going to have to. Oh, right. Should we close up on this?
So basically, to answer the question, I don't even remember what the question was. So basically,
How do we feel about the
Do they
Mega
think
Drive
that
Mini?
Are they going to do
let's talk about the Mega Drive Mini. So guys, let me give you a history of what's going on so far. So basically, so you've got the NES Mini that fucking sold out beyond fucking...
Well, beyond Nintendo.
Yeah, it was showing up in CX twice its price, you know, all that sort of stuff. And it was showing not just giving its... I apologise. Not just giving Nintendo its benefit, but also other studios its benefit as well. You know, the Nintendo Mini was... Actually, it was. Even being a Sega kid, that was a fucking incredible console to own. Incredible. Since then, Nintendo released the
Very appropriate.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Answer it.
Right, okay, since then.
That in the Mega Man
Since
theme.
then.
How's that dented limb, please?
None of this is being edited. So basically, since the NES Mini, the
It's picking up everything.
since the NES Mini, the Super Nintendo has been released. But it's not just Super Nintendo normal games. You know, you got your Mario's and Super Mario World. Hello everybody.
We're in.
A little bit more drunk than usual because of Wild Weather Ales.
He'll get it right, never. So enjoy the awesome beer that comes from it.
So basically, the idea is, even though this video is going out early, there will be eventually a complete history spotlight on what I've done today at the Wild Weather Ales studio, brewery. There you go, that's better. I couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery. I genuinely couldn't. So basically, we're going to answer our last question now, and our last question. Moving on from the last question we had. Which is on Survey Monkey. I'm talking lots of nonsense to get to there quickly because I should have organised this before we got on camera.
If you want to skip straight to the next question, click here now.
Man, you're going to have to organise so much editing for me. So Yakuza 0, we've already talked about that. Mega Drive Classic, we've already spoke about that. Which moves on to our final question. Actually, that is our final question.
That was our final question. We did it.
Our final question. We've done it. We're there.
All right, this is our last question then. Why are there no females represented in the cereal box industry?
I've got nothing to add.
You spell Tony the Tiger with an I.
Tonai.
Well, no, it's still with Tony.
Dave's just asked a new question, so I've just moved away from it.
What did he ask? Just like what's happening?